With V-Ray Next Update 1, you can now use the volume grid without needing to load in cache files. Instead, you can use a 3D texture to create a volume, such as non-uniform fog, or textured details in the fog. You can also use the 3D texture to create a simple smoke. To get started, first let's create a volume grid. When prompted to load in a cache, click Cancel. Now, to fill the grid, go to the volumetric options and set the smoke opacity to be based on a texture. Then select a 3D texture, such as noise. Now start the APR, and as you can see, we have a uniform volume appearing in the scene. Next, let's modify the texture a bit, just to see how it affects the volume. Right now, the noise is quite large, so let's decrease its size a bit. Let's also add some more contrast by adjusting the high and low threshold. Next, switch between the different noise types to see how the volume changes in appearance. Let's settle on the fractal noise and increase its levels to something like 10, just to introduce some more detail. I'll also set the high threshold to 1 and the low threshold to 0.25. Okay, let's close all the windows and stop the render for now. Next, go to the Layer Explorer and make the geometry layer visible. We're going to use the volume we've just created to cover the ground with fog, so we'll have to scale it up to be quite large. While using the Scale tool, you can right-click on its icon on the main toolbar and enter a percentage value. Let's make it around 250 times larger or so. Now, let's also switch to the render camera. With the volume grid still selected, navigate to the grid section and let's alter the proportions of the volume from here. You can set it to roughly match the green rectangle in the top view, as this is the area visible to the camera. You might notice that increasing the size of the volume grid also increases the number of cells. That's far more than we need for this example, so let's click on the Decrease Resolution button a few times until we end up with a few million cells. Next, start the interactive render once again. While rendering, let's tweak the properties of the volume grid a bit further. For example, you can change its color or set it to use a texture. In this case, I'll use a copy of the texture we've put in the opacity and simply adjust its colors a bit. Now, go ahead and tweak the parameters further until you're happy with the result.